3-1. You said it. They've been waiting for the power numbers to come back for Suarez. He just takes it out of the yard.
They've been waiting for this to happen. And he got a pitch. It was not a bad pitch by Cease. It was inside. It was on the edge.
How about that? Suarez to go ahead, 2-run homer in the seventh. D-backs win yesterday in San Diego, 9-1. They went 4-2 on their road trip. Now back at 500. Jody Jackson, you can watch her do the pre and post. Joins us now here on Fox Sports 910. Jody, before we get into what happened this weekend and looking ahead for tonight, just your thoughts on Christian Walker getting snubbed. Do you think, Perdomo last year, we may see an injury replacement possibly?
I mean, I'm hopeful for Christian that he is. And yeah, hi guys. It's good to talk to you guys. I'm kind of upset about it, I'd like to see him go. Like, he definitely deserves it. 22 homers, 64 RBIs. He had a fantastic week. Apparently he was also snubbed for NL Player of the Week. Brenton Doyle of the Rockies won that. I got a email an hour ago. I don't know exactly what Brenton Doyle did, but maybe I'm hypersensitive. I don't know. But for the All-Star game, it would mean so much to him. He's so deserving. You hate to see a guy put together such a great first half and not get to go when he's truly deserving. I mean, it's hard to put together 3 months like Christian Walker's done. He's certainly capable of doing it again, but he's 33 years old. You'd like to see him just be able to go if he's deserving. He's better in every category by far than Pete Alonso, who is only going because he's the Mets representative. And it's kind of wacky how it goes. I was listening to a couple of former major leaguers talking about it today, and I guess the way that that's done is so you get the fan vote, and then I guess the replacements, or not the replacements, but I should say, when you go down to the reserves, it's actually voting by the peers, and maybe it's the fault of his own peers to not do the research and not know, maybe people think, oh, Pete Alonso, yeah, he's always there, he does the home run derby, whatever it is. But, it's pretty clear to me what the guys should know what Christian Walker does, offensively, defensively, and I just hope that, some way, somehow, injury replacement, that he gets to go. Troy Lavello is the manager, as you guys know, and maybe you can make that happen in some way, shape, or form. And with, the league being involved in those replacements and things like that, it can happen. I'm quite sure it could happen. So we'll see if it does, because he far and away deserves it.
Jody, you mentioned, watching Walker's first half of the year. Seems like the last several years he's been hot, cold. Sometimes he starts slow or he'll start fast and taper off. What do you see in his consistency this first half of the season that you have in the last 4 or 5 years with Christian Walker?
Yeah, it's kind of been building, Manuch. It's kind of been building for the years since he's taken over for Paul Goldschmidt, and it's kind of amazing to watch because his numbers are better than Paul Goldschmidt's. So what a move it was to pick him up off of waivers, back in, I guess it was going back to 2016 or 2017. And he just does everything. I think Torrey was quoted a couple of times this past week as being a manager's dream. And I think it's because he prepares so well. Baseball is such, there is talent. Talent is number one, but like the process that you go through, you can have so much talent, but if you don't prepare a certain way, you likely won't have success. And he's just learned how to do that. The way that he prepares to hit every night, the way that he has learned on his role is to hit for power and how to do that successfully. And then the defensive side of things, how he's made himself into a Gold Glover. I think it's just, it sounds maybe boring to say that's the key to it, but I think it is. It's that process every single day, how he gets ready, and part of it is knowing that you have to do that. And I think it clicked him. I think this year it really clicked in for Ketel Marte, and because I think it takes a really next level approach, and it takes the guys a few years to really not only realize how to do it or that they have to do it, but like how to do it and be successful and avoid some pitfalls that come your way. Because again, these are guys that play every day. Christian plays over there every day. I mean, there's no one even, he doesn't really have a backup. So, and that's a lot of pressure, but he's out there and available and healthy every day.
Jody Jackson is our guest on the Right Toyota guest line. Jody, if it was Christian's opinion, he would just play every game at Dodger Stadium at Chavez Ravine and just jack balls out of the park all night long. I want to get to tonight's contest and this series coming up with the Braves, because I think this series and the way that the Diamondbacks have performed against the Dodgers and against the Padres, and if they have success in this series against the Braves, after the All-Star break, are they buyers or are they sellers? What's your thought?
Yeah, Jimmy B, I think that's a good question. I am going to say, and I think barring any kind of major collapse between now, God forbid, but, go 0-for-7 or whatever, they come out of the break, they have a road trip to Chicago and Kansas City. Barring like a crazy nosedive, I think they're definitely buyers, or at least standing pat, right? Because they don't have a ton of holes. When healthy, they don't really have a ton of holes. Even the bullpen, which has been had some trouble. This bullpen is like the A bullpen. The high leverage bullpen is excellent, and then the low leverage bullpen is kind of like, to me, really subpar at times. So maybe it's just evening out the arms in the bullpen, because they do already have a lot of guys. Maybe they need a left-hander, right? Because they just have Joe Mantiply. They don't really, having Saul Frank being banned for a year, that hurts. Losing Kyle Nelson, that hurts. And maybe a lefty. But I think they're buyers for sure, because think about it, guys. If you're the general manager of this team, it's a team that has hung around all year. They're standing at 500 right now on July 8th. Is this the 8th? Yes, the 8th. If assuming they're still, they're 2 games out of the last wild card spot. So if at the trade deadline they are within some range of that wild card spot, even if it's like 5 games, but you've still got Merrill Kelly and Eduardo Rodriguez coming back, and you're still really gelling because you just got Alec Thomas and Perdomo back not that long ago. You'd really kick yourself if you didn't go all in on this, because you're getting this talent back. You could go on quite a run. You could win. What if you won 60% of your games? What if you, it's not inconceivable when you've got Gallen and Kelly and Erod and Montgomery and Fott, and that's very likely what they're going to have come mid-August. And then you've got over 30 games to play. So I think clearly they're going to be in on this if everything just kind of stays status quo.
And it's nice to win the last 6 out of 8 games and 4 out of 6 over on the coast against the Dodgers and the Padres. The bats come alive, outscoring both those opponents 50-29. Bats are heating up. As you mentioned, Alec Thomas is back, hit the grand slam. Seems like that piece is starting to come around. And to your point, once the staff, basically almost all of them except for Gallant, comes back, I would agree with you, Jody. I think if you're a buyer for something in particular, you ride that horse, and maybe they flip the script from last year where they struggled. This year, maybe they catch that shooting star and move forward.
Yeah, I think you have to, because again, you plan for this all year. You go to the World Series, you've got a nice core of players, you added on to it. You added Peterson and Grichuk, and you invested all this. You invested money, you invested time, you invested the sweat equity of going out there every day from spring training till July 31st. Why wouldn't you believe in your guys? And knowing that baseball's crazy, right? knowing, and that means that, you could fail too. But, again, I don't think it's not like they're going to look to, I don't know. I'd be shocked if they really went for it with some superstar type player and traded a bunch of prospects, but you never know. We never know. God forbid there be another injury. You just never know. But I just think they have a good thing going. We've waited for this. Haven't we waited for this for so long, right? They got there in 2017, but that was like Patrick Corbin, Goldschmidt, Pollock, guys that are all gone, and guys that were never really, I wouldn't say felt like that was like a championship team, but you never know, because once you get in, you never know. So we waited for a team that could go to the playoffs, and heck, they went to the World Series. So yeah, you got to go for it. You got to stay the course. And whether that means adding like a left-handed bullpen guy or adding like another spark plug, another position player that could be like a Tommy Pham was last year. But I would argue this year, assuming they're playing well and they don't have that losing skid like they did last year when they needed the Tommy Pham type personality. I don't know that they need that. They really just need to be healthy and play like they can.
Jody, you back on the air tomorrow?
I will be back on the air tomorrow.
Good.
So I'll be there for 3 of the 4 Braves, and then the final game before the break, and then out of the break going to Wrigley and Kansas City. So
Nice.
Busy times.
Good times. Thank you, Jody, on a double duty today. Appreciate you. Thank you.
No worries. All right. Talk to you guys soon.
Jody Jackson, check her out. Of course, MLB Network as well, and on Twitter at Jody_Jackson. This portion of the program is brought to you today by Twin Peaks. Cool off with your favorite Twin Peaks girls, Jax, all week. Celebrate with specials on their favorite cheap shots. All right, Jax.
That's perfect.
Peak signature taps. That's all, Jax. The Mules and more. That this Thursday will be live at the Tempe Marketplace, Twin Peaks. Up next, Casey Walsh will join us from the Sports Book. We'll talk about NFL season win total predictions. It's Fox Sports 910.
Does your standard amount of bucks not